Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Tom, for those who don't know. You know me as Heph, and I wanted to make a final video explaining everything that's happened to me in the last 3 months as a way of moving on to the next chapter of my life. For anyone who's been around for the last couple of months, you would know that these videos have been quite common. I have been addressing my issues quite a lot because, to be honest, my head has not been in the right place, which feels like a lifetime now. And I'm finally at the point where I'm feeling pretty much back to my normal self, and I'm just looking forward to moving on. And yeah, I do have a cold, so if I sound a bit sick, that's because I am. And I know it's the worst time to make this video, I know, but anyway. Before I go into anything, it may not seem like it, but this channel means everything to me. I know I haven't been active, and I will go into detail why, but this channel very much is a huge part of my life. Something I hopefully one day can do as a job. I know it's it's very hard to get to that stage, but it's something that I would love to do one day as a job, because this is where I feel like I'm mostly myself. It's where I can be myself, and it really makes me happy. So 3 months ago, actually to this date, surprisingly, my ex left me. We were together for about a year and a half, with a few little bad periods where we weren't together, and the way it all happened didn't go well for me. And I feel like to make you guys understand what happened, I need to quickly start from the very beginning. I know I have explained this before, but I want to quickly explain it again. So basically, I met this girl, Foxy, who was pretty intense female gamer I met on a friend's server. We're playing PUBG, and yeah, she was pretty intense. Wasn't really a fan of her, but anyway, we eventually did just stumble across each other in a server, and we just started talking, and ever since that day, we just talked every single day. I quickly fell for her, and yeah, at the start it was pretty rough. That there was a lot of drama going on at the time it happened. But I eventually did go and see her. So she lives a long way away from where I live. It's almost like if you live in London, it's like dating someone who lives in Russia. It's quite the distance. Australia is huge. My relationship with her felt like a fairy tale in a way. It was my first real relationship, which probably did factor in why I did struggle so much when it ended. But at the same time, though, I felt like I waited for this person for so many years, and when it finally happened, it felt real. It really did. I still remember the first time I saw her when I got to the airport, and I turned around and she charged at me and lunged at me, and I think from that very moment then, I fell in love with her instantly, and that hadn't changed. That really didn't change up until now. We started dating, and it was just the happiest I'd ever been. She was everything I wanted in a relationship, and I was just happy. I finally had a relationship. It was awesome. I truly was happy. Obviously, it was long distance, so seeing her was pretty difficult. I went over for 2 weeks as her boyfriend, and it was just the most amazing 2 weeks ever. Anyway, so skipping basically a year, obviously long distance did have its negative effects. It was very toxic at times. I say at times because it really wasn't like that all the time. Obviously, there were a lot of arguments, a lot of fights. Long distance is built on trust, obviously, because obviously we can't see them. It's all done through the internet and obviously FaceTiming and all that kind of stuff. She didn't get along with a few of my friends, which caused a lot of issues. And eventually, it just got too much to the point where I needed a break. And we broke up basically September last year, which was about the time I was meant to come back to YouTube, but basically because of all this drama that happened, I didn't, which pushed it up until the next year. A lot of crap happened between that small time we did break up, which I won't go into detail, obviously, but we did try again. She actually, at the start of this year, was going to move over to my state with some friends she met online just to live closer to me, just to, be closer, which I thought was quite insane. But anyway, she eventually flew over as well to fix things, and I honestly thought it was all fixed. It was an amazing week and a half when she came over. A few little issues, but I honestly said goodbye feeling happy. like I've said before in previous videos, you know, I'm quite an emotional person when I say goodbye to someone, but when I say goodbye to her at the airport this time, I didn't get sad because it was honestly the happiest I'd ever felt. I honestly thought, this is gonna work. This is actually happening. It's all fixed. And we were good. I actually remember on the way home from the train station after like saying goodbye, I was in the car with Mum. I literally told Mum, like, this is actually happening. This is the happiest I've ever felt, and she was happy for me. She really was. Eventually, the occasional arguments did happen, but you know, that's just long distance. Sometimes we both knew what we were signing up for, and you know, I think we both knew, even from day one, that the timing of this was terrible. Both of us weren't ready to move out, so we both knew that this long distance was going to carry on for a while. Even though I was committed to moving at the end of this year because I really wanted to finally make that big move and live with her. I didn't realize how much I did rely on her. I felt like I was a pretty just average dude. I feel like I'm a pretty selfless, normal guy. But I didn't realize how much I did rely on her. You know, as much as she made my life hell a lot, you know, I really did rely on her on so much. And I think she definitely relied on me as well. And I think that kind of kept us together, which sounds pretty terrible actually. She struggled with the long distance way more than I did. I used the long distance as motivation. I was so keen to see her each time that was enough for me to get through my days. It was enough for me to go to sleep feeling happy, wake up feeling positive, and get through my day. For me, she was motivation. And to know that one day that I could move out with her was enough for me. And I think that was a huge shock to me when suddenly all that was gone. I was like, I didn't know what to be excited for anymore. I didn't know what to be happy about anymore. You know, it was something that was I wasn't expecting and wasn't really used to after having that for so long. She never really ever showed a sign of ever leaving. Yeah, look, we had bad arguments, but we sorted it out. And yeah, so it wasn't up until I went to New Zealand. I remember I didn't tell her that I was going to New Zealand for a few days because I was scared she would overreact, and I thought she would just blow up and leave me. And I needed this holiday, personally. I needed a break from work. I needed a break from where I live. I just needed a break from it all. And I was also going to be spending time with an old school friend, which was I grew up with in England, and I just needed to get away. But by my surprise, when I told her, she was cool about it. You know, she was really cool about it. And I literally said to her a day before I left, I said, this is the happiest I've ever felt. And I said that to her, and she agreed. She agreed that this is the happiest we've ever been. But apparently not. I gave her full warning when I was in New Zealand that I wasn't going to be in contact much, because I wouldn't have internet. I would basically relying on Wi-Fi to communicate. And yeah, look, the first few days were fine. Even though I had a pretty stressful first 2 days in New Zealand with my bag not showing up, and eventually showing up to my place at like 1 in the morning, and it was just a big nightmare because I had no internet and was freaking out. But I gave a full warning that I wasn't going to be able to talk much for the next couple of days because I was backpacking, and that's kind of where it all started. You know, like, I even had flowers sent to her house, which she shared on her social media, you know, saying how much, you know, I think she's pretty much said, I fucking love him. And yeah, so like a few days into being in New Zealand, there was a little thing popped up, and suddenly I, after a full day of traveling and seeing some of the most amazing, beautiful places in New Zealand, and you know, spending time with some most amazing people I've ever met from all around the world, I come back to the hostel with my very, very limited internet to read all these paragraphs of just shit that I didn't want to read, you know. And it honestly almost ruined my holiday. It really did, you know. If she was on a holiday, and I knew that she needed this holiday, and you know, she committed quite a bit of money to it, you know, and if she only had maybe like 5-10 minutes to talk a day, I would make every second of that 5 to 10 minutes, you know, worth it. You know, I wouldn't bring up issues, I wouldn't bring up arguments, you know. And it got to the point where I didn't want to talk to her anymore. I just wanted to enjoy my holiday. I remember in one instant, because I was 5 hours ahead in time, because of how far away I was, she wanted me to call her at like 1 in the morning when everyone was asleep, just so she could hear my voice. Her words, just so I can hear your voice. I'm like, I can't. I'll call you in the morning if I can, you know. It is 1 in the morning. I've got 8 people sleeping in the same room. There's about a dozen people sleeping outside in the corridor. I'm not calling you right now. I'll call you in the morning. I remember, I've still got the conversation right in front of me. It got to the point where I was sick of it, and for the rest of, like, I remember the last, like, 3 days of the holiday, I just didn't want to talk to her. She almost basically did ruin my holiday. It was so disappointing. Like, I wasn't angry, it was just disappointment. It was pure disappointment of how she acted. And obviously, from her point of view, it was different, you know, and I completely get that. And we did talk about that, you know, when we did break up, because we were both pissed off for our own reasons. And when I got back to Australia, when I got back home, and I accidentally fell asleep instead of calling her when I got home, and she eventually called me and blew up at me, she said to me, let's just break up. And I said, good. I was so pissed. I was so done and angry. I was done. I was like, you know what? Thank God. Let's break up. And for the next couple of days, we didn't talk. But then I slowly got back to, I slowly got over it. You know, I was still a little bit pissed, but whatever. I wanted to sort it out. But that was it. Honestly, that was it. And no matter what I did, no matter what I said, I even offered to fly over all the way to where she lives, which would have cost me a fortune, for a day to sort this out, and even that wasn't enough. That's when she started saying things like, you know, she just hadn't been feeling the same for a while. I deserved better, which I probably did. And it all didn't really make sense. I was like, how can you go from loving someone one day and literally a couple days not anymore over a little argument like that? You know, back then I didn't see it, but now that my mind's clear and I've had so much time to think about it, basically because I ignored her for a few days, she finally realized she didn't need me anymore. She didn't need me anymore. She found a new source of comfort, and I was out. That was it. Just like that. I was brushed aside because, Tom, I don't need him anymore. Yeah, look, I probably still love him a bit, still care about him a lot, but I don't need him. And that was it. I felt like I've sacrificed so much, you know, compared to her. I've sacrificed so much of my time. I've lost friends. I've literally gone insane on multiple occasions because of her. But I would do it all again because I loved her so much, you know. And I really, really mean that. She was someone I really, really saw a future with. You know, I knew that the long distance was just, it was like a test to me. It was like a test of our relationship. And if we could get through that, we could get through anything. And that's basically where I started going downhill rapidly. Basically 2 weeks later of me just freaking out, not sleeping, not eating, getting really, really, really depressed. She got a new partner. And it wasn't just a new partner. It was someone I literally thought she would end up with for maybe 3 months. It was someone I knew he liked her, and I told her on a daily basis every time she told me about him, you know. So to top it off, I lost someone I truly, truly loved. I felt like the reason behind it was unfair. She was now dating someone I expected for ages. And on top of it, he then came to me and started being an ass to me, which I kind of probably asked for, but at that point, I had nothing to lose. I literally was at my lowest, and I just wanted the pain to go. It was like just non-stop pain. Anyway, so that's all happened. Skipping 3 months later, it came and went, you know. We did stay in contact a little bit. After it all happened, she was still checking up on me. She was still liking my tweets. She told me she was still checking up on my channel, watching my videos, and you know, she was checking my Instagram, you know, on a daily basis, you know, which she would say she wouldn't, but yeah, so it was like, I kind of just like, what do you want, you know? And to top it all off, when I was still at my lowest and I was trying to get over it, she asked for an object back, which was a scrunchie, which originally she said I could keep as a memory. She asked for it back. So here I am at my lowest, feeling absolutely miserable. And she finally contacts me after what, like maybe a few weeks of not talking. I'm still very, very heartbroken and sad. And she now asks for an object, which I originally was meant to keep as a memory. And that just absolutely brought it all back up, and I just lost my shit again. And anyway, so you're probably wondering, why is this bothering me so much? Like, still 3 months later, why have I only just got over it? Like, I would never take her back, you know. It would take a lot for me to ever consider taking her back, but like, not that she would ever come back, but I think it was just more of how it all happened. Like, none of it really added up in my head. It didn't really make sense to me. I felt like, how can you go from needing to hear someone's voice and posting how much you love someone one day, and just a couple of days later dropping everything, you know? I did overthink a lot of stuff. I was like, surely there's some shit behind this. Like, this doesn't make sense, you know? I suspected that she obviously found someone else instantly, and guess what? She did, like, basically 2 weeks later. But yeah, I think I never got that closure. I never really understood why. I felt like there was just so many lies, and I think, yeah, that's why I got anxiety over this, and it literally just kept rotating in my head. Nothing made sense, and yeah, eventually just, yeah, blew up. So skipping to current day right now, we're not in contact. I have unfortunately messaged her a few times in the last few months, just because I'm pathetic, honestly. I haven't been able to let go. It's actually quite terrifying for me to move on, because I was so set, if you know what I mean. I thought I honestly found someone that I loved more than anything. I really, really mean that. Put all of the drama and crap behind. I really did find someone that I loved, and I honestly thought she loved me back. She's someone I never thought I would actually lose, let alone get dumped. So that happened. I'm finally feeling back to myself. I'm sleeping normally again. I'm not waking up every single day with a heavy heart and just feeling miserable, which has literally been the case for the last 3 months every single day. It's honestly been a battle. And I know it's just a breakup. I know what you're thinking. It's just a breakup, Heph. Things happen. And honestly, look, way worse things happen. And I know a lot of you are probably thinking, what the hell, Heph? You're pathetic. You know what? In a way, I do feel pathetic. But at the same time, though, I can't control how I feel. I lost someone I genuinely felt like I had a future with. And she was my world. She really was. But I'm feeling good now. I'm moving on. I want to focus on what's more important, which is me. I've learned to love myself again. I've learned so much about myself in the last few months than I ever did, honestly. I know I'm a really good person. I know I'm a good friend. I know I'm loyal. I know I'm completely selfless. And, I've always been someone, you can ask anyone who knows me. I'm someone who always tries to turn a negative situation into something positive, and obviously I haven't been able to do that for a while, but I basically turned this entire negative thing into a positive. I am so active now. I am out almost every day. I am hanging out with friends that I wouldn't normally hang out with as much. I've had just the most amazing times in the last few months with friends. The only problem is that I have not found time for YouTube. This new lifestyle of being active, going to the gym, making my body feel good, eating healthier, I haven't found that time to make videos consistently. And obviously, if you're not consistent on YouTube, your channel does take a massive toll, not being in the algorithm and all that crap. So, yeah, that is obviously why I haven't been uploading. One, because my head's just been an absolute mess. One day I'm sad, one day I'm happy, and it's just not consistent. And two, I just haven't found time with this new lifestyle that I've got. So I hope, for those who are still watching, I hope that kind of fills you in why I've been like this. And I'm very happy to never talk about this again. Obviously, I probably will, knowing me. But my heart's been heavy for so long, and for the first time, it doesn't feel heavy. I feel myself again. I feel like I can be happy, and I want to push this channel. I want to share all the ideas I have. I have so many ideas in my head. You guys have no idea. I want to stream more. I want to do events. I want to be the best YouTuber in the entire world. Honestly, that's the kind of motivation I'm using now. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It still gets to me now and then, obviously, but it was more than just a breakup to me. I know to her, I know she doesn't give a shit about me anymore. And if she's watching this, which, you know what, I'm going to take a wild guess and say she is, I know you don't give a shit about me anymore. I know I'm just a distant memory. Just know that I was someone who was so committed to you, would have done anything for you, and I honestly don't think I deserved any of this. And you're right. Probably the one thing that you've been correct about this entire thing is that I do deserve better. I deserve way better. I think I always did. I think any normal person would have left you way before any of this would have happened. So yeah, goodbye. It's time for Heph 3.0. I'm calling it 3.0 now because Heph 2.0 came back early this year, and now Heph 3.0, 3.1. I don't know, call it what you want. It's time to get back into action. Oh, feels good to be back. Let's do this. Let's do this. To every single person who supported me from day one, even if you've just subbed yesterday, I appreciate all of you so much. Make sure to join the Discord server, join the friendly community, and I will see you in the next video. Ta-ta for now.